Hello and welcome to the AJ Sports Show. I'm Ace. That guy's Jay, and that guy right there is Andrew. What's going on, guys?
What's up, Ace? How we doing,
How
guys?
we doing? How we doing?
We're doing well. If you're tuning in, this is court sessions. I'm gonna take these boys to court today. Maybe we'll see. We got some surprises and stuff laid out on the show. A little bit of throwback to some of our first recorded episodes before we put those big boy pants on and decided to go live and hit y'all with these beautiful words of wisdom each and every time we hop on.
Hello, Lizzie.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Great to have you. Great to have you.
So how's everybody doing? Are you guys a little
Pretty good.
flustered? You guys flustered?
I'm a little bummed. No basketball on today. I don't know if Amanda's here yet, but we got Padres, so I guess that can hold me over.
Could be a good pitching matchup, that's for sure. I think Urias against Darvish today.
Yeah, Urias versus Darvish. Yeah,
Not bad.
I hit up the hashtag #NoNBA Twitter handle to try to get us to, some people coming.
Love
here.
it.
We'll see if that pays off any dividends.
Love it.
It's okay. Maybe people are overwhelmed with as much basketball is going on, and maybe people need a break. Who knows?
I warned everyone. Just an FYI, I warned everyone. I told you guys when the first and second round was going on, this is it. This is the pinnacle, okay? Because we're going to start just getting days where it's just baseball. And when the Dodgers aren't playing, good luck. Find me in at World's Edge or Verdonsky.
Right. Well, Andrew still has soccer year round, so he'll be okay, I think. But.
Yeah, damn right I will. You're right. Yep. Hell yeah. Dude, this weekend I found myself feeling like so unlike myself. Okay, so Friday night, and then honestly, I think it was Saturday night, I found myself rooting for two things I never thought I would root for. One of those things is not as big of a deal, is Kevin Durant. I did not think that I would be hoping Kevin Durant won, because honestly, if the Brooklyn Nets won, they're gonna win the title because they'd probably get healthy and they'd win. But there was something about it. I was just rooting for that. And then the other was Friday night. I was like, yeah, no Kawhi. Like, Paul George, go out there and go change the playoff stigma that's surrounding you. And he freaking balled. It was cool. I didn't expect. It was very unexpected, and never thought I would be. Never thought I'd be cheering for those two different things. But yeah, here we are.
Yeah. It without your team being in the playoffs, different parts of you, have different perspectives have come out. I think this is the season of perspective, because last year was the season of COVID, right? And this year is the season of perspective. How did teams play last year? How did they do fare last year? How did their off seasons go? And how were they affected? And then this year we're getting, the understanding of all that fallout. So I honestly my mind and brain goes to that perspective, because everybody that discredits the Lakers for winning in the bubble last year, and the Dodgers winning in their bubble as well, I look at that and I'm like, well, you're still in the fallout of a affected season. So why are we bitching and complaining, and why are we not just letting these players play and enjoying the game, for what it is? I think that's part social media effect, and then part just everybody being haters these days. So whoever wins this title, to me, will have a little bit of, asterisks, potential put to that. But that's only because, again, people are haters, and people, I don't know, but whatever. I it's hard to win an NBA championship, so whatever.
Yeah,
Sorry.
COVID season or not.
Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly. That's what you're trying. COVID season or not, winning an NBA championship is freaking ridiculously hard. So only one team does it a year out of 30. So go figure. It's kind of difficult. Just a quick question. I was just thinking about it right now, and you've already kind of underlined some of the circumstances surrounding both last year and this year, Asa. Do you think that teams learned more about their teams from last year and that long layoff, or this year and that short turnaround? Because I think I'd argue it's this year and the short turnaround, personally. Because, just for one example, we kind of talked about the Suns, and I've already all three of us have mentioned how good the darn Suns were in the bubble. And not that anyone was expecting them to come out and be the 2 seed, but we were expecting the Suns to be pretty damn good even before they got Chris Paul, right? And that was something that we saw in the bubble, right? So I'm just curious, do you think as an NBA franchise individually, do you think that they learned more from last year and having the long layoff and then going into the bubble, or this year having the short turnaround and then going into this shortened season?
I'll actually take the opposite of you. So I'm going to say from last year, because I think last year it messed with everybody a whole lot more than it did this year. And so for that fact, it laid the groundwork for what we're looking at now. So, how did you come out of the NBA playoff bubble? Did you even make it there? You only had a shorter off season. How did you prepare? What did you do to spell any like inconsistencies with your team? The Suns, as an example, brought in Chris Paul, right, and then they saw their win record skyrocket, and then since they were super successful in the bubble, except they didn't make the final, like the playoffs. I think that drove them a lot this season. So a lot of the younger players, not Chris Paul because he wasn't there that season, really put a chip on their shoulder. And I think you saw that like scrappiness and that like feistiness from them, with like Devin Booker leading that charge, right? Because he's been in this playoffs, he's been very like personal about everything he's been doing, and I think that started in the bubble, and we're seeing it pay off now. So I think that's why they're successful. But yeah, but both are. It's kind of different, right? You can learn. You would hope good teams learn a lesson from both. I would just say like too. I think the reason that the Suns are super successful is because they have a bunch of young like role players, and they were able to handle the short turnaround. Whereas like some other teams like the Lakers who got knocked silly by the Suns, they have a bunch of older role players, and those guys looked gassed and weren't making their shots and whatnot. So I think the teams with role players and the 4 teams remaining have really good role players are the ones that overcame greatness, and the core teams of like the 3 or 2 champions put together, right? Like the Nets and the Lakers with LeBron and AD. You saw those teams crumble. You saw it happen already. So, and the Sixers too, right? The Sixers the most we'll talk about that later, but not necessarily the best like players on that team, but like a really good team, and then they get knocked out by a team of role players and a couple of young stars like shooting and shining bright.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question that you bring up. I kind of like feel like if the organizations were kind of like hesitant to really hold like a ton of weight for both of these situations, that's even possible to say. Because on one hand, you got a very extended break where it was abrupt, where you had to really adjust, and then for some teams get back to the bubble. And then on the other hand, the teams that were in the bubble got a very shortened amount of time compared to teams like Golden State. Like we saw Golden State wasn't in the bubble, even in the 8 games, and they still weren't able to qualify for the regular playoffs. So I don't know exactly what it tells organizations. I think what's really going to matter is this next season after this one, because then you really get back to like the basketball schedule. We're all assuming that there's no like in-season tournaments going on. We just have a regular 82 NBA game schedule with a 4 month off season. Who's going to get their bodies right, their minds right once like the world gets back to normal? Because when you have like all these different things impacting like schedules and all that time, I think it's kind of hard to be too cruel on either side. But that's just kind of my take on it. I think it'll be more telling how everybody rebounds from it going into next season, because we're going to see a lot more healthy teams. We're going to see better like load management. Even though that's something we're probably not rooting for as fans, but we're probably going to end up seeing it, especially for a lot of the older superstars, because it's a superstar-driven league, and you got to keep them healthy, and you want them all in the playoffs. But
not me. I'm rooting for it. I don't give two. You can keep the day off in Utah all you want. I don't give two darn. And kind of a cop-out answer there, to be honest.
Well, it's I mean, I'm just kind of giving you my 2 cents. I mean, I don't know. No.
I like it. I'm between the two, though. I mean, I would assume for me it was the bubble because you got that that extended time off, like there were some injuries, but there weren't as many. I guess when you came back, getting ramped up again, there were a few, but you were relatively healthy if you were assuming you were going to make it into the bubble or have a chance to. That is, heading into the bubble. So I think compared from this year to last year, I would take more stock into last year, just because of, again, we've already documented how injury riddled the season's been this year. So out of the two, I would assume that one. Asa, you say that you think this year showed a little more than last year, then, or you think that the bubble showed more?
I think the bubble showed more because you had less time to plan for it.
That's
however,
true.
However, in perspective though, I really dislike what Adam Silver, and the NBA Players Association came to an agreement on this season. It boggles
right.
It boggles my mind how many players got injured, and which we're not necessarily used to seeing that, and it was a shorter season too, and it was ridiculous. Like the Lakers didn't bring back their trainer, trying to solve injury problems maybe that way, but also some of it was they played a longer season last year. The times and all that were off, and these players are also people that want to do things with the rest of their life, and do things and be with people and promote stuff. So all of their schedules and all of that crap got shifted around, and I know you don't blame that necessarily on their success of how healthy they were this year, but I don't know. I just think that there was a little bit more that should have been done from the top and how they formulated the schedule. We've talked about it a lot, but we didn't even know the second half schedule till a certain point.
We got to the All-Star break and didn't know it. They got to the All-Star break, and teams had no idea who they were playing after the All-Star break.
And then it was literally endless back-to-backs for every team.
Oh, back-to-backs, 3 and 4s. Yeah, absolutely.
And this is we're talking about the Dow Jones and then the NASDAQ. Money moves around like crazy in the NBA. We're talking about millions of dollars every day, and it's just crazy to think that the NBA has investments, right? Adam Silver's best interest is to protect his players, and then you kind of look at it as no, he's just trying to make money, right? And that's the part that bugs me, because you always have to be pro player. If you like sports, then you shouldn't be pro team, you shouldn't be pro owners, you shouldn't be pro government association, how the politics of that play out. You should just be oh yeah, I love basketball because I love watching these players play. And that ultimately feels like it's getting sucked out of this game sometimes when you actually take a second to step back. When you do take a second to step back, follow us at AJ Sports Show on all of the handles, including TikTok. We only have one TikTok out there, but you can go and like it 25 times.
We're gonna get ramped up. We're new to the TikTok craze, so
right. Do what you want. Not telling you what to do. But we want to be.
I am. Go go subscribe, go follow. I'll tell you what to do.
We want to be on your FYP. No big deal. Okay, so let's talk about the conference finals. We'll make some predictions, and then I'll just give a quick rundown, and we can talk about it as we go. Let me get rid of this little blurb so we can see more of Andrew's beautiful face down there. So the Utah Jazz lost to the Los Angeles Clippers without Kawhi Leonard. So
What's up, Amanda?
Pretty big win for them. What's going on, Amanda? So yeah, let's just talk about that first, and then we can move on. But Andrew, you kind of already mentioned it, right? We already got your opinion on it, how you were really impressed with Paul George. Was this a Paul George thing, or are we blaming the Jazz for just injuries, or is it speculation of just young players not putting it all together, or are we thinking that the Clippers won this?
To kind of take a page out of a former Arizona Cardinals head coach, the Jazz, we are who they thought they were, to be honest with you. I don't remember exactly that guy's name, Dennis something, but it just kind of reinforced everything we've kind of been talking about with Utah. I didn't think that they had the ammo to really get it done. I thought that their style of offense and the way that they approached the game was going to be it's going to be hit or miss. If they're hitting their shots, they're going to be a very successful team, and unfortunately they weren't. And even in a series where Kawhi Leonard is down and you have a home game to capitalize and take the series lead, and really kind of end it in probably 6, you allow Paul George to kind of become that superstar that we all kind of figured he was, and to show and really show out in game 5 and 6, and kind of put this one away with the help of the greatest game of Terrence Mann's career to this point. So I think it was a little bit of both. I personally was a huge fan of Paul George when he first burst onto the scene, because I was looking for, if you ask Johnny, I was really looking for that that opposition to LeBron in the East. And when Paul George came on the scene and was yamming on Miami, I really liked it. So birds. We bringing birds back up.
We're gonna get okay. We literally low key, like in a couple of months, we're gonna make this happen. But we'll get my like noggin right here, and we'll just put like birds like written out over my face, and it'll be like all sci-fi looking. And then we're gonna get one that's of Jay just saying egregious, or maybe it'll just be egregious on a baseball cap or something. And then
I love it. Merch.
Yeah, merch.
Hashtag merch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you have anything to share there, Jay? Before?
No, I mean,
I move us on.
The Utah Jazz lost in the first or second round. I mean, that could have fooled me. I thought they were the best team in the NBA, best record and everything. I wonder if there were 3 smart, handsome gentlemen that host the YouTube show that talked about this about 2 months ago, that they are frauds, fraudulent. It's a fraudulent basketball team. They could go 82-0, and I'd pick them to get bounced in the second round. Unbelievable.
Well,
Utah together.
It just so happened that the two teams we didn't think would make it to the finals faced each other, so one of them had to make it to the finals, and that's the Clippers here. So it is what it is.
In fairness, I mean, the Clippers wouldn't be in the finals if it wasn't for everyone getting injured. I mean, literally, it's a bloodbath right now in the NBA, bro. I mean, look at every single team. Every single team had pretty much every single team had a player miss time, and a lot of them were like one of the best players on the team. Like, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Ty Lue wants us all to be Clippers fans because we're Lakers fans. Thumbs down, buddy.
Another really dumb idea. Really stupid. Just what are you? What kind of dumb stuff is that, Ace?
Yeah, no, it's like, okay, it's sports. We pick teams who we like. Dodgers fans and Giants fans don't get along. Giants fans will never forgive our stupid, ridiculous fans that beat up Brian Stowe. They don't
still look bad on him.
We don't associate with those thugs.
Shame.
Right? Yeah. So but we'll never forgive the Giants either, right? They pulled off 3 championships on even years, and we, this was pre us killing the division. True. So far we've been killing it in the division and giving ourselves a chance every year.
So when you look at Ty Lue's logic here. So when the Giants and Jets in the NFL, once one of them goes out, the Giants fans should just root for the Jets, and Jets fans, well, both teams suck, but if one of them were to make the playoffs, they should just switch over. It's just root for the other New York team. We're not like they're the biggest rivals to each other because they can't stand each other in the same damn city.
Los Angeles is like the size of another country, right? The amount of people that we have living here, beats other countries. It's like saying to another country, like, hey, I know you're like this side politically or that side politically, but since this side isn't going to win the election, you should just change all your views. I mean, yes, you should try to be okay with who your leader is, but then you can't necessarily be like, change who you are, because at least for a limited time. No. Just Ty Lue, just you've won a championship. You're with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like you did okay for your career. You might never win again. So just deal with it, buddy.
Nah, he's probably just gonna go to another super team, to be honest. And his record, if you look at games, I mean, put him up to Doc, bro. I mean, he blows Doc out of the water. I'm just being honest. Look at game 7s. Look at close out games in series. His record's unbelievable. And granted, he had LeBron James for a long time, so that's gonna do that for him.
That's what I was gonna say. Here's the thing about Ty Lue, and people may not view him as a top tier or high level coach in the NBA, and because of that reason, they'll say, well, he had LeBron, and then he went to it, and now he has Kawhi and Paul George. But if he wins with them, and isn't that what he's supposed to do? We use the same thing with players. If you have a super team and you win with them, we're not. It's that's what you're supposed to do. The same thing can be said
with Doc. I just brought up Doc.
Exactly.
He went from
Doc
to Lob City, and then he goes and gets the whole Philadelphia Sixers that they've been putting together for the last 10 years and just hand it to him, and he's not winning.
The way that I okay, just because your team wins an NBA title does not make you a good coach. Like the way that I look at Frank Vogel this year, like I looked down on him a little bit. I didn't forgive him because he brought the Lakers to a championship win last year. I don't
know.
Really?
That,
No,
Like-
I mean,
they were one of the best defensive teams in the league without Anthony Davis and LeBron James for long stretches.
I know. But apparently in this day and age, defense doesn't win championships. So
it does. We talked about that. It does. You can't win a championship without defense.
You have to be able to get there, right? And we weren't healthy enough to get there. We didn't give ourselves a chance to get there. But the threes that were being hit this year, bro, like it was redonkulous. Like the teams that are here in like this last round nail threes like motherfuckers. Like, you know, like they're ridiculous. Sure. So, anyways, like defend the undefendable shot, right? That's kind of how it is a little bit. Like you don't get the beat down defense type of play a lot as much as we used to. Is all I'm saying. Like I do like Frank Vogel's scheme defensively. I just, you know, like I'll nitty pick him because I can, and I watched, you know, Lakers games and saw like us being kind of questionable on some rotations. Anyways, okay, let's move on. We already kind of talked about Denver losing to the Suns because that happened like a week ago. Mm-hmm. So we'll kind of just fast forward there. And then we'll talk about the Clippers versus Suns as we make our predictions. Philly losing to Atlanta just got me rolling on the floor laughing. I'm so happy for the Atlanta Hawks because a good team, a great regular season team, the Sixers lost because their flaws were shown. Like not every team is perfect, and you know ultimately you gotta try to make the other players look bad. And Trae Young and company just kicked ass, and I'm so happy that the Sixers lost because they didn't play good enough to win.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, granted, Joel Embiid for what he played. We talked about it a week ago. Like if he was gonna play, that we're gonna hold him accountable. He has a torn meniscus, a partially torn. I'm not filtering all blame there because with albeit one game, I believe he was averaging 35 and 10. So he balled. He did what he needed to do. The big questions are going to be obviously with Ben Simmons and what the fallout from that's going to be. They were a little cryptic in their post-game interviews, Doc and Joel, and talking, throwing a little people saying they're throwing a little shade towards Ben. Ben, the only thing Ben can do is put his head down and just work hard, and hopefully he's a better player next year because he does a lot of great things on the court that are getting unfortunately overshadowed by his inability to hit shots. And you got to hold him accountable. You got to make him accountable for that kind of thing. Pretty inexcusable to give him the ball when he had a clear dunk opportunity to try and dish it to Matisse Thybulle under the rim. I don't want to get too specific, but he's a good player, and Johnny and I have defended him here. I'll continue to defend him because he's a multi-time all-star, and again, he does things a lot of people can't do at the size of 6'10". And there are tweaks with everybody. People have to make. You don't see people hit their prime sometimes so they get to 29, 30 years old nowadays. Just look at Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal struggled a little bit. Now he's 28 and he's about to turn 29, averaging 32 points a game in the last 2 seasons. So it takes time, and not comparing the two guys, but sometimes it takes a little longer. Sometimes it's late bloomers, especially for really talented guys like Ben Simmons. So,
okay, I appreciate everything you said except about the age. If you want to be 40 and be in your prime, be a professional bowler. No. These guys.
I mean, Kevin Durant's 32. He's a 32-year-old superstar and balling out in the playoffs. Granted, his team lost, but he's 32. 32 used to be seen as a little older. Steph Curry's breaking records at 33 now. I mean, they're the same superstars we've been watching and looking since they've been 25.
So yeah, okay, I get you. I'm not saying that older players can't do well and you can't hit your prime later. I'm just saying these guys it's if you go to my job and you watched me work the whole year, and I put myself on that pedestal and you had to critique my work, I would allow you to do that because you watched me and you put in the time and effort to come into my work and see how I work and yada yada yada. These basketball players, this is their job. I know that they're doing this because they probably love basketball, but this is also their job, and like unfortunately, like us as like purveyors of the news have to judge them on their job, because that's just how the way the world works a little bit. Like as fans, we can watch the game and enjoy it, but like we also have to look at these guys and be like, oh, okay, well, call it for what it is. Sometimes give them some excuses, sometimes meet in the middle elsewhere. But I don't know, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna just stop complaining about players. Okay, so the Sixers got knocked out. There's no more one seeds remaining. There's no more. Oh, there's the only 2 seed is the Suns. Okay, but anyways, we're moving on here. The Bucks beat the Brooklyn Nets 4-3. You guys were right on that prediction. Especially since the Brooklyn Nets had a 2-0 lead, and I was like, oh, I got this. Nets in 7. And then, the Nets kind of faced some injuries. The Bucks being the healthiest team left in the playoffs, so I feel like that was to their advantage. And like I had mentioned, the only way Brooklyn will lose off of 2 things, right? Bad defense, not wanting to cover the ball, and then their injuries. Their injuries kind of, rearing their head. I just thought that it would be in the conference finals, so this round that they would lose. But the Bucks beat the Nets, and it was a gassed out series end to that. What was it, like 6 to 2 points scored in the overtime there. Mm-hmm. Like Kevin Durant was 0 for 6. Like he played a hell of a game, but he airballed his last shot because he just couldn't do it anymore. The Bucks had some timely shots by Middleton, and I mean that just sealed it up. I mean it was just whoever could last longer at that point of the game.
Before we get super into the Bucks series, I haven't really talked to Jay about what he thinks about the Sixers and what they think, like Ben Simmons, what he thinks that the Sixers should do with Ben Simmons. I was going to ask you your opinion, Rafesh.
Wait, hold on. Pause. So we'll save that for the end of the show, because we have some talk about Ben Simmons at the end of the show. How about that? Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we can do that.
Yeah. Joel Embiid was unbelievable. That's about it.
Okay.
Save your
Ben Simmons talk. Save your Ben Simmons talk for later.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I mean, I don't want to get too into the past here, but any quick little thoughts about the series?
That was one of the greatest games I've seen in a long time. That game was unbelievable. Kevin Durant is the second best player in basketball. That is no question, and the second best behind LeBron, obviously. Duh. But yeah, literally, there's no one. I've never seen anyone at this size be able to hit shots this dude has, because it's never been done before. It's literally unbelievable. There's a meme that went around a few years ago about Kevin Durant and his funky looking toes. Kevin, I don't think your toes are funky looking. Okay, if you're watching this, I know we got a lot of viewers in here. Make sure this doesn't make your way. I know you got a burner account. Don't want to be on Kevin Durant's burner later. He's openly made fun of his toes and his long feet recently. So as soon as after the game, so I feel like I'm okay to do so. If he wore like a size 15 instead of like a size 22 or whatever the hell his clown shoe size is, he's making a 3-pointer there, and the Bucks are out, and the Nets are moving on to the conference finals.
So real quick, because he brought up his shoe size. So he wears a size 18 in the game because it gives him a little more room, but he's actually a size 17 in real life. So his normal shoes.
Oh, see, that's it. That's the difference right there.
Wow. So if he was wearing a size 17, if he was wearing a size 17, he actually would have been behind the 3-point line. But the reason he said in the past before that,
yes. Oh, dude.
He said in the past before because it gives him more room and because he stops on a dime for a guy his size. He likes that extra room and that extra leap, like that little give he gets from the bigger shoe. But yeah, that's crazy, right?
Bro, that was legit. And then he. Like that, people talked about it. Like, okay, so he hit the shot to end the fourth quarter, right, to tie it up, and then people were like, "Exactly, I'm screwed. I'm done. I'm done for." Cover of ESPN. And then in overtime, he shot like a similar one, and everyone's playing hindsight Henry. Timeout, right? Why didn't you call timeout? I mean, you got timeout. Why didn't you call one? I told Andrew, me and him were watching the game together. I looked at him with like 10 seconds to go when they got the rebound. And I was like, I told him, I was like, normally I'd be proactive of taking the timeout here. No, Kevin Durant is way too hot. He got the mismatch he wanted. He had Drew Holiday on him, was able to get over the top. You let your best player take the shot that he deems fit in that moment. And Kevin Durant was totally okay with that shot he took. He got a pretty decent look. He just was out of gas after playing. I mean, he only sat like 5 game minutes over the last 3 games of that series. So that was just an unbelievable performance. Chris Middleton, you want to talk about coming up big for someone who's been, bashed a lot. Chris Middleton was phenomenal. Only player in NBA history to go over 25, 10, 5 assists, and 5 steals in back-to-back games. Both dubs, obviously, to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Put some respect on Chris Middleton's name because Chris Middleton's pretty good. Drew Holiday had an awful game until the very end. He hit that big 3-pointer and then that fadeaway 2 on the baseline. So, I mean, I know we're not trying to get into the past too much, but that was one of the best games I've seen in a long time. There was like 18 lead changes, bro.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. I think the Nets at one point had a 10-point lead. Maybe that was in the second quarter, but then that was slowly erased. And then for the rest of the game, it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better ending. The Brooklyn Nets did lose. Yes, they're disappointed. Kevin Durant didn't want to talk about it. He was kind of pissed off in his post game presser, rightfully so. But he's not okay with.
I think we all agree either Kyrie Irving or James Harden healthy. This game's. I mean, the Nets probably win the series, right? I mean, everything would lead you to believe the Nets would win the series, right?
The Nets played a rotation of literally 7 players, but the 2 guys off the bench played like 7 and
5.5 guys, bro. They were playing 5.5 guys.
10 minutes, yeah. So like it was pretty much your starting 5 for the whole game, like no break essentially. So. Yeah,
and then the other thing I wanted to ask you guys about Brooklyn, since we're talking about Brooklyn real quick, because Spencer Dinwiddie is apparently going to decline that player option of his, which makes sense. But does that mean he's back on Brooklyn? Because Brooklyn has a lot of salary cap eaten up on those 3 big guys, and Joe Harris is still making like a solid, decent chunk of change. I think he's at like 15 mil. And I mean, that Spencer Dinwiddie was a guy that I thought would be able to come in and really help this team. Obviously, that didn't happen this year. He's expected to not resign. I mean, I don't know if he resigns at like a bigger number. I don't know I don't know what their salary cap situation looks like.
I doubt it.
Right. I don't think so either.
I think this is just one of those things where if you walked away, and you don't get your moolah from them, and
I don't know, elsewhere. Bro. That's
Oklahoma. He'll go play for the Thunder. They have they have a bunch of roster space, or he'll play for the Rockets. They have a bunch of money to spend. The Chicago Bulls. There's a bunch of teams that'll spend money for him, and he'll get a starting job somewhere. I think that's probably what he's going to go after. I don't think he wants to come off the bench.
I don't think he'd come off the bench next year.
You don't think so? I mean,
I don't know. Like, who cares? Like, I said the same thing with Giannis a little bit. Start playing Giannis at the 5. Like, this is positionless basketball now. Like, if the 76ers wanted to roll out Ben Simmons at the 5, he's 6'10", okay? If he needs to meet some kind of metric to play the 5, he hits it. So who gives a rip?
So who are they taking out of their starting lineup then to put him in?
I mean, the way Joe Harris played, I might put Joe Harris to the damn pine. But who's it right now? It's Joe. Who started this series was it'd be Kyrie, it'd be KD, it'd be James Harden, it'd be Blake. I guess if you bring Blake back,
Harris,
and then Joe Harris, right?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I mean, again, Kevin Durant 7 feet tall. Like Kevin Durant 7 feet tall. James Harden rebounds. Like
sure,
get over it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I could see that happening, but yeah. For sure.
I mean, I just don't think he's going to be back now, so I was just curious what y'all thought. Andrew, you think he's going to be back, or are you kind of on the same boat where no?
No, he's probably gone. If I was Spencer Dinwiddie, I probably would have opted in. I don't understand that at all. You're coming off a torn ACL, and now you're betting on yourself. And not that it's not good to bet on yourself, but a lot of people choose to bet on themselves in a situation where they were in a contract year and they actually played. He didn't play, and it's a torn ACL.
Right.
It's just
right. Yeah,
I would have probably just opted in for a season, won a ring, and had my stock rise simply for that, because I think they have an opportunity probably, and it's not like some sort of surprise. As long as they're healthy next year, they'll probably be in the NBA Finals, and as long as they're healthy the year after that, because they have 3 more years, they'll probably be in the NBA Finals multiple times over the next 3 seasons, because Kyrie, KD, and Harden are all locked up for 3 years. So I would have rolled the dice at least and got a chance to play with those 3 superstars. Spencer Dinwiddie didn't. I don't really know where he's going to go. To be honest with you, I don't really care, because now it doesn't matter. I mean, to be honest, He probably will go get somewhere. Yeah, he'll be Terry Rozier, just go where he gets some money. And honestly, good for you, dude. Go get your cash, go get your money. If you want to come to the Lakers, sure, but you ain't gonna be making $18 million, bro. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, why not?
I don't. It depends on what we can afford. Depends on what they can afford.
Okay? Would you be okay taking the offer for Dennis, giving this to Spencer?
Oh, the offer we gave the Dennis and give it to Spencer? No, I'm not gonna give him that. I'm not gonna give him that.
It's a little questionable after.
It's a $21 million annual average value. I'm not gonna do that.
Definitely don't give it to Dennis.
Well, I was gonna say, what did Dennis show you? I mean, I know Dennis had a really good regular season, and he's a worker, bro. Dude tries, but there was some nonchalantness going out there at the end of the Phoenix game, the Phoenix series. I don't know if he was just tired. And I mean, I don't like saying that kind of stuff because I have no right to say that. These are professional athletes. They're gonna give it their all anytime they're on the court. But it just looked a little questionable to me. There were some times where I used to see Dennis go on the floor, and Dennis was not on the floor. But I mean, all the injuries, 100%. I agree. I would be hesitant to give Spencer Dinwiddie the contract as well. But if you're the Lakers, I would think about it. I'd severely think about it. I really would.
Okay.
I'd bring him in. Yeah, look at it. Take a look.
Let's make our predictions. And then while you're making your predictions, just give me the player you think is going to hold that team to victory. So you got your notepad, Andrew, to write this down?
I got it. You give it to me when you guys are ready.
Okay. Whatever. Okay, let's go East first. Hawks versus Bucks.
Bucks in 5.
Okay. Andrew?
You're muted, Andrew.
I'm going to go Milwaukee over Atlanta as well, but I'm going to say in 6.
Okay. I'm going to say Hawks in 7.
Oh, gosh.
And so the first round I used my brain. I thought really well. I was like, this is gonna happen, and then I was behind on all my picks to you guys. And in the second round, I was like, I'm gonna use emotion. I'm gonna pick who I think is right. And then that was wrong, and I didn't do so hot. So this round, I'm just gonna pick the birds. And you'll see for the next one. I'm just done. So
birds.
Yep.
Yeah, more birds. I think that's why that's probably a good reason why. Not bad.
Okay, so and then who do you guys have as your most important player for the Bucks?
I mean, I'm gonna say Drew Holiday because he's probably gonna be the one task guarding. And kind of a cop out because I picked him earlier too, but this birds thing is gonna be a thing on our show, isn't it? Holy crap.
I hope so.
This is going to be like a Dan Lebatard thing where like 10 years from now when we're still sitting here doing it, Amanda's in the chat and stuff and just types birds. And all these, some new viewer is going to be like, why is this girl saying birds at a weird time? And then we're just going to be like, you don't get these shows because you weren't here, baby.
You weren't around for the first 100 shows.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, and I said this coming into the playoffs, and even before the playoffs, is gonna be the difference that makes the Bucks a championship contender, as opposed to kind of being a little bit of a fraud with that Eric Bledsoe switch. That's just my opinion. He's gonna have to guard Trae Young, and if you stop Trae Young, you stop the Hawks, bro. Like that's the end of the deal for the Hawks. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Giannis. Not really much of a surprise here, but I'm going to go with Giannis because I'm just going to stick to what I've been saying and what I think Giannis is going. He has the most clear opportunity. Like everything has just fallen in his favor right now for me to be right about what I've been saying about him, and that is to assert himself as the greatest player in the Eastern Conference. Because as long as LeBron's there, I'm not going to argue who the greatest player is, but he can most definitely wins the ring this year. He's going to assert himself as that guy. He's a multi-time MVP, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and he'll have a ring now at 25. So I'm going to say it's Giannis. I'm going to stick with what I've been saying throughout this entire postseason. I think this is still this whole postseason is all going to when it's all said and done is going to be about how Giannis Antetokounmpo elevated himself to not only superstar but like world star, and that's like he will be the best player like consensus. Even though Kevin Durant's over there, he'll be like yeah.
Did you say world star?
Yeah, I didn't mean like world star, but like I mean you can't really go higher than superstar, but like you know what I mean. Like he's already a household name, but I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay. You're dumb. I'm gonna go with Trae Young. He was top 20 this year in player efficiency rating. Led the team in almost all the offensive stats. Has really put on a show this postseason. Badass. He's gotten he defended himself really well for all the like BS he was getting in the first round from Knicks fans, and he had that like personality that I like that's how I would be if I would be like. It might come off as petty, but I don't care. If you spit at me, if you try to like mess with me, then you just activated a whole like different side of me. You bring out the parts of me that I don't always show. So I'm gonna go with Trae Young for obvious reasons, but Clint Capella also another great player for them. But we'll see. We'll see how the Bucks do after.
I was just going to say, Trae Young, like, to start your postseason career, I mean, could you have picked two harder road venues to have? Like, going to Madison Square Garden and then having to go to Philadelphia? I mean, that's tough, dude. And getting dubs in Game 7 in both of them. Like, that's big time.
I would say he's going to a less intense basketball town in Milwaukee right now. So
I'd agree with that. Now, what I'm not going to agree with is some of the blasphemy that's coming around, and people are trying to put some shine on Trae Young and say, "Oh man, see, Luka, he's doing more than Luka." Hey, calm down, okay? Let's calm down, okay? Luka's getting 40-point triple doubles in the playoffs and still losing, okay? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like Trae Young shot 5 for 23 yesterday.
Luka's the best. Luka's the best player under 25 in the league. No. You're wrong if you think otherwise.
And he's a top 5 player in the NBA right now. I mean, right? I mean, he's literally a top 5 player right now.
Pretty much.
Who are you taking above him right now? There's only 3 people I'm probably taking above him, and that's Kawhi, LeBron, and Kevin Durant. And Giannis. I'll take 4. Those are the 4.
Okay. So let's because we got other stuff to talk about today. Let's be a little quicker with this one. Clippers versus Suns. I'll go first. Ryan was right. Ryan, I'm picking the Clippers because you can clip a bird's wings. You can even clip their nails. You can clip their wings. I'm all birds here. So, I was thinking Suns because a bird can fly into the sun, kind of, sort of, but not really. So Clippers in Clippers in 7.
So I called mine before the game yesterday, and I told Andrew, so, I didn't. Trae Young better than LeBron. Troll job there, Ryan. Nice, love it. Maybe I like chess or something. I'm going to be honest, he's probably not better at chess. LeBron probably does everything better than everybody. LeBron sleeps better than everybody. He eats better than everybody. He yawns better than – he probably farts better than everybody. LeBron just does everything better than everybody, pretty much. I don't like LeBron at all, in case y'all didn't know. So I called this yesterday because I wanted to get my record on my pick on record before the game started. I'll take the Suns in 7, solely for the fact that I know Chris Paul is coming back. I don't know if Kawhi is going to come back. They said ACL injury. That's what they're worried about. ACL injury. That's not good. So we don't know if he's coming back. I think the Clippers. We know Chris Paul is coming back at some point in this series. So I'll say the Suns in 7 just to kind of cover my bases. I think I am winning or in second place right now in points. We can do the tally later, but I'm pretty sure I'm like 1 point behind Andrew. So we're gonna go Suns in 7.
Okay. Who? And I forgot to mention. But who's your player?
I'm gonna go. I don't want to pick someone like. Like someone like Chris Paul or Devin Booker. I'm going to go Cam Johnson. I'm going to go Cam Johnson off the bench. If he can hit a couple corner threes a game, average about 12 points, it's over.
Okay. I'm going to go Reggie Jackson. Because why not?
Oh, nasty. Oh, dude, he shoots the ball lights out right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm going to go – I made my prediction before the game started, too. He watches Trae Young on TV better than anyone. Yeah, he really does, Ryan. Ryan's getting it. He's picking it up, man. I'm going Clippers in 6. I know they lost game 1. Nice. I called it – I said it before before the game started. Johnny knows. He's going to hold me to it, and I'm gonna keep with it. I didn't want to say Clippers in 6. Chris Paul might be coming back. I'm kind of okay with how game 1 panned out if I'm the Clippers. I'm kind of okay with how it went. It ended up being a 6-point ball game. It took a 40-point, triple-double, first of Devin Booker's career to really finish him off. Paul George played really well. You didn't get the contributions from Terrence Mann that you were getting in the last 2 games of the Utah series, but those were kind of expected because you don't expect Terrence Mann to do it. But I think I don't know what it is. I have a feeling that there's stepping stones to things. I don't think Phoenix is going to come and run the table. And maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm just going to stick to what I told Jay. I don't think Phoenix is going to run the table in their first postseason. Chris Paul's health, we're not sure. Not his health. Chris Paul and the protocol, I'm not really sure how that's going to pan out. He's symptom free apparently. But I think that there's some stepping stones to be made, and I think that if the Clippers get Kawhi Leonard back, I think that they'll be able to finish him off. I'm kind of rooting for Paul George. He's the guy I'm looking out for. He finished off the Utah series exceptionally well. He's been playing over the course of his last 6 playoff games. He's played just exceptional basketball, and I expect that to continue. I think that they'll be able to win game 2, and then we'll go from there. I still Clippers in 6.
You're the man, Ryan. Andrew, playoff P, 0 for 5, 1 point in that fourth quarter.
Hey, he played Utah Friday night. He scored 38 in that game to win in game 6, traveled, had 36 hours to prepare for a Phoenix team that had 10 days off. So I'm okay.
Totally with it. 0 for 5, 1 point in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
That's all right. We'll see. This is a risk. I'm going to do it though. I called it.
And I mean, how is he going to have a lot of 0 for 5, 1 point fourth quarters? If he does, then, it's probably going to be the Suns winning. If he doesn't, then, the Clippers are going to have a good shot here.
He just has to do that. He just has to do that 3 times or less, and he could win the other 4. Oh, absolutely.
I think so. Well, yeah.
Okay. We got a fun segment coming up. Let's do it.
Hey.
Damn, our intro song just hits different. I'm just saying. When I hear it, it's like it just tells me it's like say less, Ace. I'm like, I got you. Okay, so today, conversation is going to be about luck or unlucky. How the opposite of luck is I don't know, unluck. That's not a word. Okay, so. If you guys have anything to share in the comments, feel free. Type it in. We'll put it up on the board, and we'll laugh or sympathize with you, however you want to look at it. I asked the guys today, what's something unlucky or lucky that's happened to you? You could share both. I have a couple of things. But yeah, who wants to go first?
Jay can go first. I don't know. Do you have a Jay, or I can go? I can go second. I can go first if you want me to. It doesn't matter.
You go first. Yeah. I have it, but you go first.
Okay, so this is kind of like it's unlucky, but it's also like kind of like also very lucky. So back in 2016, Johnny was still in school at Trinity, and he was coming to visit, and we had to go pick him up from LAX. And little did he know, he planned his trip to be in the middle of Kobe Bryant's last game. So very unlucky on the part of me and my dad. We were sitting in LA traffic, and then we had to drive by. We're driving by, and we took the 405 for some whatever reason, and we're heading home, and we're just stuck in traffic. We're trying to get home in time to watch the game. Anyway, we end up listening to it on the radio and like having that cool little experience. Like I'm pretty sure Michael was with us too. It was me, Mike, my dad, and Johnny.
It was just us.
The 4 of us are just stuck in traffic literally we're stuck in traffic on the 405 a quarter mile from the Staples Center, listening to the game on the radio and just crying like baboons that he's like and acting all crazy because he's getting 60 points in his last game. Thankfully we had it recorded, so we were able to go back and watch it and cry a little bit more. But so that was a little unlucky, but it also turned out to be kind of lucky. I think that fits the bill for that question there.
That's so funny because mine is also like unlucky and lucky and has to do with Kobe Bryant. We were at Disneyland. God, I don't remember when it was. I remember Ace, you got us in because you're the freaking man. And we went to Disneyland, and I was leaving Disney, and we had park hopper tickets, and we were going to go to California Adventure. And oh, dude, I was so stoked. We were going to California Adventure, so I'm kind of doing like the fast walk, into a little bit of a jog, start getting over there. And out of the corner of my eye, I see a kerfuffle going on as I'm walking through the gates. And I'm like, what is going on right now? And I look over and I see the 6'6", gorgeous looking Kobe Bean. But I'm already through the turnstile. And he's right there. Right at the Disneyland turnstile. He just walked in. And I'm on the other side of the glass. And I look like a freaking idiot. because I was trying to get to California Adventure so fast that I went through the turnstile and didn't notice Kobe Bean was no more than, I swear, 20 feet. I could have spit Georgia Drive. I would have got there. And, oh, dude, so lucky I got to see him. Unlucky because, I mean, I swear to God, I don't know what I would have done. I mean, I know I couldn't have done much because, you know, you don't want to get anyone in trouble or anything. I don't want to be a douche or anything like that. But I would have been like, hey, Kobe over here, go.
Greatest of all time.
Go, the marble, you know what I'm saying? You can get a little bit, you know what I'm saying? A little autograph picture, you know.
Okay. Nah, it's a good story. Okay. I'm going to tell you my unlucky one first. My friend betrayed me. So, this was in 8th grade. This was in 8th grade. We were doing, at the end of the year, we had like this, like party or whatever. It was in some, I don't know, some like venue area for all of the kids in my school. Well, all the 8th graders in my school. And they give you a raffle ticket when you go inside, right? So I got my raffle ticket. They're like, hold on to the raffle ticket. Throughout the night, we'll be calling out numbers and, you know, giving out certain prizes to the people, whatever, right? And then the grand prize being an Xbox 360. So I'm having a good time schmoozing, just hanging out with the peeps, all my friends that I don't talk to anymore. And this one guy, his name was Mikey. He was really connecting with me the whole night, like playing like the friend card, like being real cool with me. And then he was like, you know what, man? He's like, I gotta tell you something. He's like, I don't think anybody's gonna win anything. He's like, and I'm just trying to get extra tickets to hopefully I can win something because I don't have much. And I'm like, oh, for sure, man. And so he talks me into giving him my raffle ticket, and I'm trying to be I'm a good person, right? So I'm like, yeah, here, take my raffle ticket, right? So he takes my raffle ticket, and the whole night goes through. I haven't won. My number didn't win anything until the very end, the grand prize. They pulled my ticket for the raffle for the Xbox 360, and I remembered my last few digits of my raffle ticket. So I ran up to him as he's running up to go claim the 360. I run up to him too, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I won. This is my ticket." And I'm like, no, it's not. That's my ticket. So, like, I'm making a scene because I'm like, dude, I won an Xbox 360, and this kid just schmoozed me out of my ticket when he probably wasn't even supposed to do that, right? There should be rules. We're 8th graders. Like, we can't just do whatever we want. So, the teacher was really confused, going back and forth, and was like, you know what? You shouldn't have given your ticket away, and he shouldn't have tried to claim it. So none of you get the Xbox 360. And then this other girl, ended up winning the 360. But I hated him that moment. And then we had a class together like a couple of days later. I am not friends with this guy.
There's no way. You can't be anymore.
Because, like, okay, bro, like, fall on the sword and just be like, no, it is his. And then, like, you could have came to my house and we could have played together, right? But no. And I'm not going to let you just get the 360 without me having a chance at it, right? So, anyways, yeah, that's right. Hell yeah. So, some other girl won. I had class with him because this was like literally like almost the end of the school year. There was like a couple of days left, and then he sits next to me in class, and then he was apologizing like the next day. He's like, "Why aren't you talking to me?" And I just ignored him. We're in like our assigned reading time, and he's just trying to he's like begging me to talk to him. I ignored him the whole way through, which is hard for me to do, but I was ticked off with the guy. So that was my lucky because I got the raffle ticket, but I was unlucky. And then I have a better story. I almost died. So this is the lucky part. So Harry Potter and
oh God, scared the wits out of us, bro. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, exactly, Elizabeth.
Before you get super into that, let's do the. We got lucky. We got 2 lucky things coming from Amanda, and then you can do the.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Nina got a picture with Kobe right as he was leaving an event in 2011. Really friend. As it
That's
should
dope.
be.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Then we got another one. I went to TwitchCon in 2018, and someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me," and I let them pass. Turned around, it was Tony Hawk. Did you do that
Tony
thing?
Hawk,
I heard in public people when they see Tony Hawk, like they troll him a little bit, and they're like, "You're not Tony Hawk," and they won't admit that he's Tony Hawk, and he's like totally okay with it. Did you do that?
I think people. I think he's just kind of like, not that he's out of the public eye, but bro, Tony Hawk was the dude when we were kids. But nowadays, I mean, he's a little older. It's not like pro skaters coming out anymore, like his video game. I mean, we used to all know him because of his darn video game.
At Ace's house, yep. We used to play the pro skater, yep.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Tony Hawk.
Okay, let me.
Yeah.
This is my sidebar. This is why I'm lucky. But anyways, okay.
Wow.
That's how it's done, boys.
Okay, I'm just so nervous to hear you talk about the story again, dude.
Okay. So. Okay, let's read Ryan's real quick. I remember one time I really wanted a job at Disney, and just for the heck of it, I told my friend at the time, "You should just walk in an interview." He ended up getting the job, and I didn't. Guess who that friend is? It's me. It's me. I'm that friend. And you ended up getting the job later.
Oh, it's funny.
Amanda, I did not. He had an event that day, so he just went into the convention center right after.
Solid. Oh, I know, right?
Man. Ryan, I'm sorry, man. Like Ryan wanted the job at Disney, and I was like, I'm gonna be a supportive friend. I'm gonna go with you. And then they hired me because they just knew they could trap me for 12 plus years. No, I'm just kidding. It's me. Yeah, that was a pretty funny moment. But Ryan ended up becoming a barista there. I mentioned this in a past video. I was never a barista. That's too much for me to handle. So props to you, Ryan, for becoming a Disneyland barista, because that's like a whole another level of like magic you have to like be able to like keep up with. Whether
it's the one on Main Street or the one in California Adventure, bro, lines out the door 24/7, crazy.
Yeah. Okay, I almost died. Let me get to this. Let me get to the story. So I watched Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is the 5th Harry Potter movie. This is when
great film.
This is when I would always go to midnight premieres of all the films, like not just Harry Potter, but like other big movie stuff too, right? At the time, I was working 5 a.m. shifts as well, so. Watched the midnight premiere, and then I was like, I'm not going to sleep for a couple of hours. That just seems stupid. So I came home. I did whatever I could to stay awake. I took a shower. I ate. And then I drove to work, and I got to work safely. Worked my shift. Easy peasy. I was getting on the shuttle to go back to the car, and I fell asleep, right? I don't remember, like, if I... when I fell asleep on the shuttle right back to the car. I just remember, because the stop makes like 4 stops. I remember I passed my stop because I was asleep for the first part, and I think I woke up because someone else got on the bus. I'm going to talk a little fast here because this can get a little long-winded. Anyways, I get to my car. I'm like, okay, I live 10 miles away from home, just one street. Literally one street. I got this, right? So, not even 10 miles. I live like 9 miles away. So I'm in my car, driving. I get to a red light, doze off a little bit, wake up, keep going. Okay, I put my windows down. I do whatever I can to just try to stay awake, listening to the music. Okay, so anyways, I fell asleep at a couple of red lights. Stupid, I know. Should have pulled over. I'm an idiot. I get 10 seconds away from my house, literally 10 seconds away from my house. And this is why I'm lucky, because I probably should have killed someone or died. I fell asleep, so the road curves a little bit. And I just kept going straight. I went straight into a parking lot, which had a restaurant, a couple of businesses, at noon on a Thursday. Like, noon on a Thursday, there's like a, lunch business that could have been at this Mexican restaurant. It was a pretty nice restaurant in our area. I jumped the curb, still not awake yet. And then once I jumped the curb, I opened my eyes and I didn't know what was going on. I slam on my brake. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs like, ah! Because I think I'm going to die because I don't know what's happening. I also don't, think I'm going to die. Don't know what's happening. 200 plus feet later of skidding on my brakes on this gravelly pavement, I drive into a tree. I clipped the left side of my car, clipped the sign of the parking lot building, like those tall big signs, inches by inches. I was a foot to the left of me was those power lines. I would have hit that at 50 miles per hour. I didn't, thankfully. Probably would have been dead. I clipped the sign by a couple inches. At that point, I was probably going like 35, 40. When I ended up hitting the tree, I was going 25. This poor tree came out of its roots, snapped in half. The top half of the tree flew like 5 yards, maybe, and my car is like at this angle. The trunk of the tree is like this. I didn't have airbags, so I took the full force of that. I had a gash on my forehead. I see smoke coming out of my car. I'm like, I'm dying. I'm gonna die. Like I'm gonna blow up. I'm gonna burn alive. So I try to put the car in reverse. Asa, the car is not reversing. So I start to scream more because I don't know how to get out of my car. I crashed right in front of this paint shop. They come out running because they think a big rig crashed or something because it was that loud. They come over this guy's like, hey you, calm down. Like he sees me because my windows were down because I was trying to stay awake with the fresh air. He's like, calm down, because my door was jammed. I couldn't get out. He's like, you can get out from the other side. So he opened up the door for me. I was able to get out. It was absolutely crazy. I could have also been beheaded because there was like a chain link fence in the ground where my car ended up, like, and that didn't budge. The tree budged, but this chain link like fence didn't budge. So like, it could have been a lot worse. I had bruised ribs, no airbags, bruised ribs. I was in a 89 Cutlass Sierra Oldsmobile tank. This tank saved my life. So this was my lucky story. I no longer go to midnight premieres, unfortunately. However, I am alive and well. And on another stream, because this story takes a while, I'm gonna go over part 2 to this, or maybe I'll do it on TikTok or Twitter or something and let you guys know. But there is a part 2 to this, which Ryan is involved in. But we'll share that part 2 another day so we can get to the rest of the show.
Thank God for it, man.
Yeah, just glad you're here, buddy.
I remember when we were kids and we heard about it. We heard this whole story. Like, oh my God, Asa, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't know if you popped up these, but Ryan was, Ryan knows about both of these stories, and then no big deal,
yeah.
just falling asleep as I'm driving.
We popped that one up for sure.
This was before I was dating my wife, so like now I'm smarter. I have something. I had something to live for back then, but like I have someone who makes sure I don't do stupid shit like that. But yeah, anyways, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I was lucky to be alive, and I almost died. I almost killed someone too. Like if it had come to it, like I would rather have died because I couldn't bear like crashing my car into someone's family. Like that'd have been too much, too dark of a place to. When you called me before the cops, yeah. Oh yeah, part 2 is good. So maybe next show we do, I'll say part 2 just to not make you guys wait too long.
Love it, baby.
Okay. I had a couple of lottery, like, because I'm talking about lucky and stuff like that. I had a couple of lottery ones. I'm just gonna say one crazy, ridiculous person that I was researching in because I was like, oh, lucky, unlucky. What's going on here? This person was the most lucky. He's the luckiest person I've ever read about in my entire life. Oh, sorry. Birds.
Any chance she gets, she's just gonna comment birds. I'm with it. Just go for it.
So, yes. Okay. Well, we're lucky we're all still alive because birds. That's how that logic works. Okay, so his name is Frank Salak. He is lucky and unlucky. I don't know how you want to perceive this, but this is the ultimate guy here. He's a 90-year-old from Croatia. He's escaped death several times in his life. He's also won the lottery. So let me explain. In 1962, he was on a train that derailed and plunged into an icy river. 17 people died, but not Frank. His name is Frank. Frayne, not Frank. We're going to call him Frank. In 1963, a year later, he was on a plane. The back door was blown out of this plane. He got sucked out of the plane. 19 people died. He did not. He landed on a haystack. That was a year later. 3 years after that, Frank.
What the hell? On a haystack?
On a haystack. This keeps getting better here. A bus he was on drove into a river. Man, he keeps going into these rivers. 4 passengers died, but not him. He was able to swim to shore unharmed. 4 years after that, he was in his car. It caught fire, and it blew up, but just moments before, he was able to escape. Ridiculous. 3 years later, he had a malfunctioning fuel pump in his car. His air vents started to shoot like fire out at him. This sounds ridiculous, but apparently it like singed some of his head, but otherwise he was fine. 22 years later, he was walking around in Zagreb. I don't know where that is on the map. He got hit by a moving bus. Minor injuries. I don't know how this guy's alive still.
Where is this
That's
dude
in
from?
Russia.
I don't want.
Croatia.
Is there more, Ace? Is there more?
One more.
Oh my god! Go.
He was a head-on collision. He was in a car with a bus in the Croatian mountains, caused his car to plummet off of the road in a 90-meter deep gorge. So his car's going down 90 meters. I don't know what that is in feet because we're, America, but he was able to get out of his car and hold on to like this branch on the side of the mountain as he watched his car drive down the rest of, fall down the rest of the way and explode. That was the last one. And then 7 years later, he won 600,000 pounds in his local lottery on his first try. He claims on his first try, he won the lottery, and I think he's still alive. So I'm not sure if this guy's, I don't think I think he can escape anything at this point, especially death.
Dude, if I'm in Croatia and know anyone with the name Frank, I don't want to have any association with him just in case they know this guy or is this guy. I can't be anywhere near this dude. Amanda sent us a Twitter DM with some pictures. We need to get them on. We need to get them on the screen. I'll mail them to the Gmail Oh, Andrew's already got it. There we go.
Let's go!
Yes.
Baby.
Yes.
Go. We got one more.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Let's go, dude.
Yes. That's going to be my wallpaper.
God.
I'm instantly changing that to my...
Oh, great.
Oh, my Amanda. You are... Bravo, Amanda. Bravo.
Yeah, that's some
Bravo.
top-notch work. Yeah, that's it right there, baby.
That was great. That was amazing.
Wow.
The story needs to be updated. How do they have this all documented? They just asked the guy. Maybe he made it all up. Like, how do they know all this about this dude?
Maybe. If I ever, I'll try to find if we can. Yes.
I'm just wondering. Like, they have 7 documented events about this guy Fran from Russia or Croatia. Where the hell he's from?
I'm laughing about Amanda. I'm laughing about Amanda, dude.
So much.
You really captured my essence in there. So I really do appreciate it. Oh man.
Amanda's gonna make me cry.
So she's the intern. She's our research intern. We got to start figuring out some compensation. Apparently now she's in charge of our creative art department. So
Hey, I already haggled. She said $3.99. I'm not. That's it. We negotiated already. I don't know. That's it.
Wow, that's funny.
It's a binding contract through live stream.
Oh, great, hilarious.
amazing.
It's great,
So
though.
funny, Amanda.
Okay.
Okay. We're doing something else, aren't we?
Yes, we're gonna do our last segment here, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's get into it. So
I can't stop laughing today.
So this is a throwback to one of our last pre-recorded shows before we put our big boy pants on and went live. So it's gonna get awfully hot pretty quick in this. So let's
we'll make the responses a little short for you, Judge Fudge.
We'll be quick. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Judge Ace is in court. Thank you for attending this very quick, immediate trial that we need to have on a couple of subjects. We got these two just giggling here. I feel like you guys, we should. Is that you like winking at us, Ryan?
That boy Ryan, come on, baby.
We've talked about it, so
We'll
Cassie's home. We should get Cassie to get into one of these. She's home.
Maybe
Maybe we'll do like another Disney thing or something.
We'll reach out into y'all's DMs one of these days, and we'll figure that out. Okay, so I'm asking 2 questions today. I want your guys' opinions, and your the verdict isn't established until I make my choice up based off of what you guys say. So try to change my mind otherwise. But right now, the draft lottery. So tomorrow, the draft lottery will be happening. The bottom 14 teams in the NBA have a shot at getting the number 1 pick. The 14th team, being the Golden State Warriors, have half of a percentage of a shot to be able to get the first pick. So what I want to know is, they're the only league that does this. Are you guys still okay with this draft lottery? I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Okay, and one of us is gonna go yay, and one's gonna go nay. We gotta, or can we vote? Yeah, preferably. Andrew, I can argue either one. So which one would you like to go? Oh, did we just lose Andrew?
That's a picture of me, by the way.
I know, what the heck? I don't know what happened. I think Andrew just lost his connection. So now I'll get to go, and I'll go with yay for the draft lottery, 100%. I'll argue both sides. So yay, definitely. Look at the NFL, right? If you want to see why the draft lottery is important, look at the NFL. All the NFL does is the worst record gets the first pick. You're the second worst record, you get the second pick. And it's the same thing on and on all the way down the line. So if you win the Super Bowl, obviously in the NFL, you get the 32nd pick in the draft. The NBA has done to try to alleviate this. Oh, hey. So the NBA has tried to alleviate this by having the draft lottery and throwing up them ping pong balls and making it harder for you. I mean, you still, if you're the worst team, you still have the best shot to get the number 1 pick. But it's not like a for sure guarantee. Like, we see it almost every year. Very rarely, most of the time, does that number 1 pick go to the team that has the best odds. So I think the draft lottery is imperative for that reason, and especially in the NBA, right? The reason why the NFL can get away with it, and I told Andrew about this before the show, is the NFL, one player, like a quarterback, can change your franchise. But a quarterback is not going to take you from an elite, a struggling franchise to an elite franchise day overnight. Okay, my 2 examples, Chiefs and Bills. Both teams were very, very good. Got the quarterback that they need and had solid foundations. Like, they weren't winning a ton of games. The Chiefs are winning more often with Alex Smith, but had solid foundational pieces, good running games, good defenses, good line play. And then you add that quarterback, you get that guy, and then that takes you over the top to a championship contender. Now, the opposite end of that is, look at the Chargers. The Chargers were similarly the same way, but have always been riddled with injuries. Got the best quarterback from the last draft. I mean, Justin Herbert smashed every rookie record. They were 5-11. So when the big differential, what I'm saying is, when it comes to the NBA, one player can totally change your franchise way more easily than it's doable in the NBA. So, Andrew, I was going to give you your pick. You lagged out, had some technical problems, so now you get to argue the harder side.
I'll say no for, I guess, for that specifically. If the changes in the lottery goes away, that just means that, not that we're going to get a lower quality of product, but we're going to see a lot more teams. It may give us a good look at the G League, to be honest with you. I'll say this is what I'll say, because it's kind of hard to come. It was kind of hard to come up with a reason why, because I actually particularly like the lottery. But the reason why, as I'll say, is that it'll give us a chance to see people from the G League or from the like the league that LaMelo came from. He was in the junior NBA, or I forget, the JBA. It'll give us a chance to see guys like that. Maybe teams that aren't playing particularly well, and they decide to, like, hey, like, we don't like our roster of its current construction. Let's just bring in whoever we think we can. That's like in lieu of like the draft, and that's going to be our tanking. But I'd be okay for it if the teams are like, yeah, we're gonna pull from these pools. Like, we're gonna pull from, like, like the our G League affiliates, or like, players that we've, in our developmental processes. So if you go away from it, I think that's okay. I think I'm going to say nay for the draft lottery. And because that way we'll get to see different talent. And I'll give you an example. And it was just kind of fun to see. The Lakers were absolutely atrocious in the 2017-2018 season. And I can't remember his name exactly, but I remember that the all-time leading three-point shooter in the G League got a chance to get called up to the Lakers. And in his first game, he scored 20 points. And his shot was weird. His game wasn't pretty, but he scored 20 points. I forget exactly. Andre Ingram. He was a 32-year-old, made his NBA debut. He was a rookie, and he scored 20 points. I mean, we'll get to see more of that. Tank, and at least you get those exciting moments instead of tanking in the NFL, where you just go 1-15 or 0-16, and you have to watch like people like I don't even know, like Gardner Minshew have to be under center for the Jaguars. It's terrible, except for unless you like handlebar mustaches. So I don't know.
Farmers only, man. People love it.
Yes, he's the face of Farmers Only. He's got to be Gardner Minshew. We had a picture of him. I'd pull it up right now. I think I did pretty good.
So as a judge, if I can't make a decision up, I have to bring in a jury of your fellow peers to ultimately make that decision. I don't know if you guys swayed me enough, so I'll make this a jury of our peers to figure this out. Then we'll put this on Twitter and see what the jury says about this. I listened to both your depositions, and I don't want to rain judgment at this moment.
Gotcha.
But you both brought up interesting points.
Okay. Recess being called? Oh boy.
No, we're not going to recess soon. Ben Simmons, does this guy deserve to be an NBA player? That's it.
I have to argue yes. I mean, Andrew, I feel bad. I don't know if you want to argue no. I mean, if I were you, I'd probably just argue yes, to be honest. Yes, he deserves to be an NBA player. He is unbelievable. Yeah, he cannot shoot the ball. And guess what? He's still an NBA player. He was still the first pick in the draft, and he's still ridiculous. So for people who for some reason don't know, in Ben Simmons' draft class, he ranks number 1 in win shares, in blocks per minute. He leads the entire class in assists per game by a full 3 assists. He ranks 2nd in rebounds. He ranks 4th in points. He's a 3-time All-Star. He's a 2-time first-team All-Defensive player. He's a first-time he's a third-team All-NBA player. So yeah, he is absolutely unbelievable. He is 100% an NBA player. Unfortunately, he plays next to the closest thing to Shaq we've seen in forever. We've never seen anything close to Shaq until we've seen Joel Embiid, and he eats up a ton of the paint. They tried to go out and get him shooting, and Danny Green got hurt, so they're running out, Maxey out there, and it's harder to spread the floor and get Ben Simmons involved in the offense, especially when he does most of his damage in the paint. And Joel Embiid shoots the three-pointer relatively well, but he is not a marksman by any means. So yes, does he need to improve his shooting? Yes. Is he an NBA player? Yes, he is. Is he a very, very good NBA player? Yes, he is.
Okay, not bad. I will say this. Benjamin David Simmons, the Australian-born basketball player of the 76ers, listen to me. You been shooting with your left hand. I don't know what this story or why you hold on to this, but because apparently your dad told you that shooting with your left hand was a good idea and you just felt okay with it. A left-handed Ben Simmons does not deserve to be an NBA player because he does everything else with his right hand. He dunks with his right hand. He's a better finisher with his right hand. He throws a football with his right hand. He's obviously not a football player, but in his offseason, he just does things with his right hand. He even signs his autographs with his right hand. So let me tell you something, Benjamin. Ben David Simmons, age 24, going to be 25 when the next season starts. Time to grow up, okay? If you want to be an NBA player, you cannot use your left hand. So left-handed Ben Simmons as an NBA player, no. You got to be able to score in this era. You got to be able to put the ball in the bucket. If you switch to your right hand and start shooting with the right hand, because that is your dominant hand, not because the story between you and your dad is heartwarming that he told you one day that your left hand was cool, so you use your left hand, and now you're missing all these free throws in the playoff game and having the worst free throw percentage in NBA history playoffs, 33% for the free throw line in the playoffs with the left hand. So Benjamin David Simmons, I'm calling on you. If you're going to come back with a left hand in 2021, do not come back. They may not even want you back. I want you back, though. I think you're still a good player. But shoot with your right hand.
So that case. The burden of proof lying in, are you better than Andre Ingram, who came in and had no problem scoring? You don't have to be a scorer just to score in this league, right? You can do other things. He's only shot the ball once in the last fourth quarters he played. Terrible stat for him. Ridiculous if you think about it, because he's supposed to be the second best player on the team. Mind you, he's been a liability on the court. Can't have him there because you could just foul him, and with his left hand, he's just going to miss. So Andrew shot his shot, called out the left-handed guy here. And Jay just brought up, you brought up some good facts there. I'll tell you this, though. I do believe he belongs in the NBA, but as a coach, he shouldn't be a player. If you can't make a shot, get out of this league. You get paid enough money. Go to practice. Figure your crap out. Process? I'm not going to trust a process. A process of you missing every shot you take? No. Ben Simmons, if you can't score more points than Andre Ingram, who is 40 years old and played in the G League for 10 years, then he shouldn't be on an active NBA roster. Great shooter. So I rest my case. The court is adjourned. You may both of you, let's meet in my chambers afterwards. I'd like to go over some of the semantics of our next cases. We have to decide over.
The Honorable Judge Fudge. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't know. I felt like I did okay. I feel like I did. I don't know. It's hard to argue that one.
You spun that pretty well. You spun that pretty well. Yeah. You could have said the most important, the number one thing a basketball player does is put the ball in the basket, and it's the hardest thing for him to do. So that would be why that's what I would have said. And then for the draft, and you could feel free to give me some stuff, but you just had the harder points on both of them. No, the first one was just because your internet cut out. Just fortunate.
I think my laptop actually died. I thought it was plugged into the charger, but I guess it was out, and it just died. But then it started up super quick. Thank God for Surface Pro.
For the draft lottery, you only get 15 to 16 games from these guys. I mean, in college, you get a little more, like maybe like 25 to 30 if they make it to the NBA, if they make it to the NCAA tournament. But in the NFL, at least you get 3 years to study these guys on film before they come into the draft. The NBA, you only get to see them for a year, and then they can go right to the draft. So
I'll give you a little bit of in-depth of why I sided with it, and then we can move on from this case. You just said, if I take this correctly, like shooting and making a basket should be the easiest thing you do in the NBA. He does all the other tough stuff pretty well, right? He defends, he gets rebounds, gets assists. So why is he doing the easiest thing wrong, right? So maybe there's just a mismatch in his brain that's not working. But man, like I can't just keep crediting you for doing right when you can't even do the good things right. So that's how I look at it.
When he passed up that dunk, bro, and passed it off the Tybal, I was like, oh my god.
If I was 7 inches taller, I could be on that floor rebounding and getting assists and stealing. I'd put the most effort imaginable in there. But if you can't spend 300 days of the year practicing your shot, then don't stay in this league. Remember when it was such a ridiculousness when we were waiting for him to make a three? Remember this was I don't remember how many games we waited for this guy, but it was a mockery. Everybody was riding this guy because he couldn't make a freaking 3-pointer. It was some sad times.
How unfortunate is it that the Sixers, and this is the last thing I'll leave you with, end up with 2 number 1 draft picks that just cannot shoot the ball. You get Markelle Fultz, who just they literally brought him in and they were like, yeah, his jump shot, we don't know, it's broken. It's just, is it bad? Is it awful? No, it's completely broken. And then you get Ben Simmons here, who now won't even shoot.
Right, scared. Is he scared of the birds?
Possibly. His confidence is shot, poor guy. Hopefully it comes back.
Yeah, if only he had the majesty that I have as a fellow bird empathizer, I guess I could say, but he doesn't. So I'm sorry, buddy. Amanda, thank you for that. That was hilarious. Ryan, you're awesome with your comments today. But yeah, great show. Both of you showed out for core sessions. Put in your A game. Birds till we die, folks.
Seriously. Thank you guys for being in the chat. Thanks for hanging out.
Well, we'll wrap it up here. I'm hoping we can hop on tomorrow and we'll do another little show for you guys. But until we see you again, folks, have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Birds!
You scared the dickens out of me. I thought if I just used his full legal name too, I would that'll hold more conviction. That's why I looked it up on the fly.
Good job.